Hey guys, welcome to the Touchdown Table. I'm Ryan, that's Tyler, that's Jordan, and in this video we're going to be doing another deep dive, and this is a deep dive into a team that I'm really high on. These two, kinda, but not like me, and we'll talk about that in a second. We're going to be diving deep into the Cleveland Browns. It's always supposed to be the year, they're always supposed to have the right coach. Do they this year with Kevin Stefanski? We'll talk about that and a lot more about this team. Who wants to take it away?
I'll take it away as I usually do, and let's just start with running through the roster as these deep dives are usually done. We'll dive deep into this team, deep into their roster. So I always start with the quarterback position because, of course, that is the position that you basically just start with in our football today. The quarterback is the headliner of any team, and this quarterback is Baker Mayfield. That's going to be his junior year. I guess you could say it's not really referred to that much. Yeah. Ryan has an interesting phrase, and I'm sure he'll use for Baker when he gets there. But last year, Baker did struggle a little bit. I got some stats pulled up of Baker. He ended up with 3,827 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 21 interceptions. That's a lot of interceptions compared to touchdowns. That's one more touchdown that he got interceptions, which is not good. And that was on 534 attempts, and he completed 317. So a little bit of a down year for Baker Mayfield. Has the weapons around him. We'll talk about him later. So that's one perspective on Baker Mayfield. Let's jump to Ryan for his perspective on Baker Mayfield.
Well, Baker Mayfield, everyone's saying he had a sophomore slump, which, that's fair. But this year, I firmly believe that he is going to have a junior jump.
Or like a junior rejuvenation.
No, you're overdoing it.
He just tried so hard.
I was trying to think of what he was gonna say.
Yeah, you're being a tryhard.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so let's talk about Baker Mayfield. I really think that this guy's got the potential. He's got that championship mentality. He's that alpha personality in the locker room, and that's probably why, or at least part of the reason why.
And in the commercials too.
And in the commercials.
That's why he gets a lot of negative
attention. He's not in the
commercials
because he has to go walk back all the way to get the straw.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Straw, please. But commercials aside,
Where's my straw?
Yeah.
Where's my Sprite?
I do think Baker Mayfield is going to have a bounce back year, and I like what this offense has around him. I like the Kevin Stefanski hire. I barely knew who he was when he got hired, but after doing some more research and familiarizing myself with how he ran things with the Vikings, he was the OC there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How he ran things there. With that offense, I didn't know if he was like a
I'd love
coach
to step in on this when you're done.
Well, you can go ahead. I just want.
I would like to.
I just want to say I like the direction this team is going, and I think this is actually the year we see some real significant improvement. And I'm not gonna say spoil it yet, but I'm gonna say my little hot take again.
All right, well, Browns fans, go ahead and dislike this video right now because you're not gonna like what I have to say about your new head coach. Kevin Stefanski was a guy. Yeah, Minnesota, he still is a guy, actually. But in Minnesota, it wasn't all that impressive, especially at the beginning of the year. It took him a long time to adjust to his new sets of weapons and all that. And especially heading into a year with COVID-19 and a new team, it worries me that Kevin Stefanski is not going to be able to adjust to this all in time. I don't know if he's ready to be a head coach. Not as bad as Freddie Kitchens. He was not prepared at all. He's more prepared than Freddie Kitchens. But to me, I just don't see it. For the Browns' sake, I hope I'm wrong. But I do like the direction of the roster as we're going to go down it. So don't hate on me too much. Keep watching this video.
And I can kind of compare this hire to the hire of Matt LaFleur. Because, he came from an offense. LaFleur, if you don't know, he came from the Titans.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, now he was an offensive coordinator for the Titans. Now he is obviously the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. So that was a risky hire. If you watch this channel, you know my opinions on Matt LaFleur. I'm not very high on him. And, of course, Kevin Stefanski was the offensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings. Me as a Bears fan, first of all, just doesn't like the Vikings. And me in general, even if I wasn't a Bears fan, might not even like the Vikings. Okay. Just because I do. So that's kind of my feelings on Stefanski biased way. But like I said, it's a big risk, I guess. So it could really work out. Or maybe it'll be just another bad hire for the Browns. But in my opinion, with the Browns and Baker Mayfield's rookie season, the coaching scenario was kind of weird. But I think he was a guy who just kind of said, I'm going to run the offense that I want to run.
Yeah.
When Freddie Kitchens stepped in, he took the offense kind of away from Baker. He didn't let him run the kind of offense that I think he wanted to run. So hopefully Stefanski going in there won't do the same. Hopefully let Baker be himself. Let all these studs on this offense and defense be themselves. So I think it could be a high risk, high reward with Kevin Stefanski. But let's continue going with breaking through the roster here. So while we're still on the offense, we'll go to the running back position. Pretty nice at the running back position. Starts with Nick Chubb, a guy that a lot of people are high on this year. Stats from last year ended with 1,494 yards, so basically 1,500 rushing yards, and 8 touchdowns. So pretty good for Nick Chubb. Had some fumbling problems. He had 3 fumbles, but I mean it happens. I think 2 of them were in one game against the Patriots, and I played the Patriots defense that week. I think I was actually on the car ride home from a Bears game. What are you laughing at?
I almost just pulled the table now.
Oh, okay, I thought you were laughing at me.
That would have been a funny video. A lot of times we are, but not now.
Yeah. And then the other guy in that team is Kareem Hunt. He'll be back fully this year, so it'll be interesting to see how he's played into the offense. Last year, he ended up with 179 yards and 2 touchdowns. So that'll be an interesting 2-headed backfield. I think Nick Chubb will obviously be the headliner of that backfield, but Kareem Hunt will be a good guy to throw in there as well.
Yeah, I do like the running back core, Jordan. You did a great job of explaining that. So let's just continue to move on through this offense because we kind of talked a long time about the coach. So we're going to try and speed this up just a little bit. But in terms of the wide receivers now, that's where I'm going to take it. Yeah. Clearly, Odell Beckham Jr., the number 1 guy there. Mm-hmm. I mean, they brought him in to be just that. And then Jarvis Landry as well. Another interesting addition to that team. I say addition, he's been there for a long time now. But getting better and better, it seems to be underrated. I think he made the Pro Bowl last year. So maybe not as underrated as I'm portraying it. I didn't think he deserved to, though. But I mean, maybe he's getting overshadowed by that of Odell Beckham Jr. I don't know. They drafted Donovan Peoples-Jones. They have Taywan Taylor. I mean, there's a couple other guys on here that I could look at. If I missed anything, please tell me, because, yeah.
Well, I'll just name off some of the stats of the first 2 people you mentioned. 2 of the bigger names of wide receivers in the league on the same team, Odell Beckham Jr. Of course, you know him from his catch. And actually on our channel, I forgot about this video, but we do have a video about Odell Beckham Jr. I think it's called Odell Beckham Jr., a one-catch wonder or something like that. Yeah. Tyler would probably know better than I do.
Exactly it.
Well, good memory for me. Well, still trapping here. No, it's not true. Anyways, Odell Beckham Jr. stats last year. He ended with 1,035 yards and 4 touchdowns, which touchdowns, that definitely needs to go up. Yeah. But I also felt like he didn't break that 1,000 mark, but I mean, that's pretty good. I really didn't think that he did. Also, same with Jarvis Landry. He got 1,174 receiving yards. I might have said rushing yards before. If I did, my bad. And he ended up with 6 touchdowns. So I think that this offense needs to be scoring more touchdowns, especially out of these guys. Because out of Baker Mayfield's, it was 22 touchdowns, I think. Only 10 of them were from these 2 wide receivers. And yes, they had other guys on their team, which is great. They had Nick Chubb, I'm sure, who got some. They had... tight ends were doing some work. Njoku doing some stuff. But the bottom line is that these 2 are the greatest wide receivers on their team. They need to score more touchdowns. Great, they got a lot of yards. But when you get to that red zone, that's the most important spot on the football field. Put that ball into the end zone. Score 6, not 3. That's how you win football games. That's how the Browns need to get better.
Well said.
Yeah, and that's easy to do with their tight end group that they have. Jordan, you mentioned that there's those 2 wide receivers that don't do much, but you look at this tight end core, and especially this year, it's been upgraded a lot. They got Austin Hooper in the offseason, and then they drafted Harrison Bryant as well, which I completely forgot about. I like Harrison Bryant coming out of Florida Atlantic. A lot to like from him. And seriously, that's so exciting to me because I thought he was one of the better tight ends out of the draft class. And to see him in this group, he's going to have a chance to sit behind and then take action. I think they could use him, Austin Hooper, and David Njoku very well.
Well, David Njoku, I think, doesn't he want to trade?
I wouldn't blame him.
Yeah. There's so many tight ends in this room that I feel like he would want to just leave. Because I don't think he wouldn't get as much playing time as he would want to get. But if this stays how it's going to be in the actual season, this is a stacked tight end room. They can put 2 tight ends on the field every play and only have Landry and OBJ on the outside, put 2 tight ends in, and they could work an offense like that.
They could move
what Stefanski wants to do.
Yeah, they could move a tight end more towards the slot if they wanted to.
They could
do that.
3 tight end set doesn't matter. I mean, Like that, they have the
Cooper
capability
could
to
do
do
that.
that
He
after
did that
Njoku
sometimes
stays.
with Atlanta, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and
he's experienced.
I remember seeing that when Stefanski was with the Vikings as their OC, they did run the ball a lot.
yeah.
I think it might have
I
been
think
like
that
third
was.
or fourth
I was
most in
going
the
to say
league.
this earlier. I think that was kind of on Mike Zimmer as well.
True,
I think
but,
Mike
yeah.
Zimmer likes to run the ball. He's more
Yeah,
of an
Mike
old sport
Zimmer.
mind.
He was
Yeah.
constantly telling Kevin Stefanski, "You have to run the ball."
Yeah, so I
believe.
think Stefanski's going to take that into Cleveland, and I think this could be good to kind of see a new direction for this offense. Maybe more heavy sets, 2 tight ends on the field. I think Nick Chubb's going to be a workhorse. I think he's going to get a lot of carries, and I think he's going to contribute in the receiving game too. And I really think these tight ends are going to be red zone threats. So I'm very eager to see the Stefanski offense in Cleveland.
Yeah, the tight end position is increasing. Another one that is increasing is their offensive line as a whole. That starts with them adding Jedrick Wills Jr. to be specific to their offensive line at the tackle position. That is so exciting to see that. They have a couple other guys. They got Alex Taylor as well. Jack Conklin, another huge one at the tackle. Their tackles are very strong this year. Some good guards as well. I don't know which one is their starter, but
the interior offensive line could still use some improvement. But I love the work they did on both tackle positions.
And then is Nick Harris their center? I don't know, honestly.
It's either him or J.C. Treader.
J.C. Treader. I think is Nick Harris a rookie? I don't even know. I think he is. Yeah, he's a rookie. So maybe he will end up being that. So I mean, I like this direction, and especially with the strong run game, it's important to have that offensive line and try and build a foundation of this team. That's where it all starts. So that's exciting.
Absolutely.
I'm so looking forward to watch this offense.
So let's move to the defense now. Their defense, I think, is a bit underrated. They actually have some big names that they've been throwing onto this defense, building it up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I think it could be really good. It starts with the middle linebacker, Joe Schobert. He was the best. He's the best probably player on their team. Maybe besides Myles Garrett. You can put that comparison together. We'll talk about Myles Garrett in just a second here. But last year, Schobert had 4 interceptions. One of those, well, he got 24 yards out of it, if you were wondering. Also, he recovered 1 fumble, and he forced 2 fumbles, and he ended up with 133 combined sacks, 89 solo sacks, and 44 assist sacks. So that's really good. That towered over his whole team in that department.
Well, you're right, Jordan, but he's on the Jaguars.
Actually, I was talking about tackles.
Okay,
Oh,
but
really?
Joe Schobert's on the Jaguars now.
Then why does it say it on here? That's not
I don't
this
know.
thing's fault.
So, Jacksonville, you got a great linebacker.
Move.
You've got a great linebacker. This is the Jaguars
Wait,
video.
did
for
he
10
move
seconds.
from Jacksonville or move?
It says linebacker for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well,
See, you thought he was there too, right?
At first I
That's
thought,
weird.
yeah, it's all right. No,
that's not too bad.
Because it has it updated with like Harrison Bryant on here and stuff, but I could have sworn he was. I guess
Here,
I'm
let me
wrong.
see if he's on.
Because there was some sort of doubt in my mind when I was reading the. I remember like Joe Sherbert, he moved somewhere, and I thought he was somewhere else before,
That's not on mine.
but
No,
it's not on yours. So
No.
that's weird. So my bad, guys.
it's okay.
But anyways, that
was like too big for me to let you mess up on that. I did,
Yeah.
but I wasn't
because
entirely
that
sure.
one wasn't my fault. Usually it's my fault. That one was not completely my fault.
So Jacksonville, you got
What
a good
website
linebacker.
is that? I like to call him up.
It's Pro Football Reference, who actually usually is very reliable
that's a
for
tough
me.
one to call out.
I know why. Because I have the wrong year.
Oh,
'Cause
you're
I looked
good,
up-
pro football reference.
Okay, because I looked up 2019 stats, and that's why he's on here.
Oh.
I didn't look
Come
up
on, you're a
2019
stats guy.
defense.
Come
I know, I have.
You got the stats right for last year.
Yeah.
But talking about that linebacker core, that's where you were talking about Joe Sherbert.
Yeah.
Sherbert, who's not there anymore.
Yeah.
They got Mac Wilson,
Oh,
so
yeah.
he's going
I apologize, guys.
into there
That's
as
very
well.
unprofessional
Jacob
of me.
Phillips, they drafted out of LSU. Maybe not
I
like
appreciate
the
you
biggest
catching me.
thing,
Yeah.
but that's an important one. A couple other guys, Tay Davis, BJ Goodson, at that linebacker position. I don't think I missed anyone.
No, yeah, the lineback's still good despite not having Joe Schobert, as we now clarified.
Yeah.
They got other playmakers on this defense too. Myles Garrett, if he could, stay, in control of himself and not fling his helmet around the field, he could be a really good player. So I'm excited to see what he can do when he's on the field. Yeah. So yeah, he could be a dominant pass rusher, double-digit sacks, and they also have some solid veterans: Olivier Vernon, Sheldon Richardson, guys like that.
Yeah.
And then the secondary is a place where they do have some playmakers as well.
Mm-hmm. I just want to point out something about Myles Garrett. Yes, we all know what he did with his helmet last year, how he got that suspension. But he is still a phenomenal player. There's a reason he went number 1 to the Browns. So he's done some great stuff. And even with only playing the amount of games that he did end up playing, he ended up starting in 9 games. I'm on the wrong person. Hold on. Where'd he go? There he is. He ended up starting 10 games. He played 10 games because he got out basically at the end of his 10th game. So missed 6 games on the season and still towered over their team in terms of sacks. He ended up with 10 sacks. The one before that was Larry Ogunjobi with 5.5. So 4.5 more sacks than anyone else on their team, plus even, and that was only playing 10 games. So missing 6 games, that's a great feat for Myles Garrett.
Yeah, and one more thing before we go to that secondary, something I want to point out. Rookie Jordan Elliott being added from Missouri.
Oh, yeah.
He was a guy that I was not personally very high on, but I saw draft experts who had a first-round grade on him.
Yeah.
He was very powerful, I will say. One thing when I watched Jordan Elliott was that he was so strong in all departments. It was really fun to watch him, but I just didn't see the athleticism.
Yeah.
There, I hope I'm wrong, because Jordan Elliott and Sheldon Richardson riding up at the defensive tackle together would be huge to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, now let's go to the cornerbacks. And we'll start with AJ Green. No, not AJ Green, the wide receiver. AJ Green, they drafted out of Oklahoma State this year.
Yeah.
I like that pick. I want to talk about that. I love talking about rookies.
Yeah.
Denzel Ward, another huge one.
Love that.
Grant Delpit, who's still trying to, just about to try and get things going.
Yeah. Got to tackle better.
Greedy Williams
Also
got to tackle better.
It's an LSU thing.
Yeah, I was going to say it's an LSU cornerback type of thing. And then Carl Joseph at the safety position.
Oh, and they got Sindeo.
And Andrew Sindeo, yeah. I was just
That's
about to
good.
say that is
this
huge.
This defense is underrated. One of you said that. You're right.
I did.
You're right.
Yeah. That was one thing I said right in this video. Then shortly after that, there was a miscue.
All right, let's go to the special teams.
Before I just wanted to say some stats. These guys are on the team.
Are you sure?
I can reassure you that because you just said their names. So Denzel Ward, ended up with 2 interceptions last year. Yeah, I know he's on the team. Ended up with 2 interceptions last year. Greedy Williams had none actually. And then I think that was the main 2. Person who led the team in interceptions last year was, of course, Joe Schobert. But we know about him.
He is with the Jags.
So besides that,
sure
it was Denzel Ward.
He signed there. Or was he traded? No, I think he was traded. We would have heard about it.
No, but just Jacksonville is not the most pleasant place.
Yeah, Trevor's coming.
Anyways, lastly to the special teams, if Jordan's done with his stats over there.
Yeah, I am.
All right, their kicker.
I shut down after.
Austin Seibert.
It's okay.
And their punter is Jamie Gillen, who I actually have not heard of very much.
Yeah, not an elite special team.
His college is Arkansas Pine Bluff. And then their long snapper, 6 years of experience in the NFL, Charlie Hewlett. Something close to that. So there it is. We ran through the roster. One last thing we're going to do, don't click off this video yet. We're going to give you some record predictions starting with Jordan. These are rough record predictions, not exact. We're not looking at the schedule and picking their games. Just based on the talent of their team, our rough record predictions.
So before I say that, I'd just like to make a public apology here. I apologize for my bad behavior in this video today, for my miscue. I'm usually not like this, so please. Sometimes
Levante Bellamy begs to differ.
Hey, we watched that back. It was not too bad. Anyways, I said I'm never like. Didn't say that. But I'm usually not like this. I know my football, and I knew there was something wrong with Joe Sherbert as I was saying it. I just couldn't quite figure the guy.
It's kind of like watching a yo-yo.
Yeah.
So I apologize for what I did.
Shouldn't have said it that way.
I honestly, this is a genuine apologize because I don't like messing up. I know my football and it feels bad that I got something wrong, but hey, it happens sometimes, and I hope you all forgive me and love you all. Anyways, so now to my record prediction for the Browns. They're in a tough division. They have the Ravens in their division, who are actually expected to win all their games this year. So Ryan begs to differ.
No.
If you want to go watch some of that,
we got a deep
do
dive.
a deep dive.
We have a deep dive playlist. The Ravens one is in there.
Yeah.
If you want to disagree with someone,
even if you don't like the Ravens, I think you're not going to dislike them as much as Ryan did.
It's 2020. You never know.
Yeah. So anyways, now to my record prediction. Like I said, they're in a tougher division. They had an interesting year last year. I think they'll do better than they did last year. I should have their record pulled up from last year. But I think they'll end up around that 9-6 mark. maybe make the playoff 9-7 mark. I fixed it that time. Maybe 8-8.
Rough day.
So yeah.
Right. Yep.
Okay, so yeah.
7 prediction for you.
No, I'm going higher. I think that I really feel
12-4.
that no. I really think that
13-3.
no, you're on the wrong.
11-4.
I think that the Browns are really headed in the right direction. I think this is finally the year where they break through. It all comes together.
Yeah.
They will go 11-5, and well, watch our AFC North predictions video. That's all I'm gonna say. 11.
Yeah, and I'll go quickly too. I probably have them going around the 9-7 area, just like Jordan does. I mean,
Sorry,
improvements, but I mean, I think
Sorry.
Kevin Stefanski is going to take a while, and obviously that loss of Joe Schobert, it's really detrimental to their team. So it's sad. I mean, it actually is, but I just thought that was funny to make fun of Jordan. We might lose a member of the table here. He seems to be disappearing, but thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell. Comment your opinions about the Browns down below. Don't hate on Jordan too much. And with that, we will see you guys later.
See ya.